We had an absolutely crazy day of Snakenings yesterday. Today's video is the promised update. Are the trios still together? Are they still contesting each other? Has Clix announced his new trio? Who is Rezon playing with? I also want to recap the solo Cash Cup finals. We had Peterbot just absolutely decimate NA. It is just getting ridiculous at this point. I also want to talk about Epic changing up the meta again right before FNCS. We have another update to the water sprite. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. All right, so what is the update on yesterday's ridiculous Snakening? Now, as far as I can currently see, actually surprisingly not a lot. All the new teams apparently are still together. So Acorn's new team and Bolter's new team apparently are staying the same, and they are still contesting each other at Demon's Dojo. That has not changed, but we did get a bit of an update of what's going on with Clix's trio. So I expected Clix to go live and announce who his trio was. He said he was in calls all night and all morning talking to a bunch of people, got a bunch of offers, and it looks like he's going to be playing with the Omzo and Batman Booga. Now I say it looks like because he was kind of suggesting that, but said it wasn't fully locked in yet. He was going to get in a call with them after the solo Cash Cup finals and chat with them, but we have had Virgo, Batman Booga, and the Omzo's old teammates say he is looking for a trio drop for Clix and said he's not trolling. Now, I do trust this. I haven't really seen too much from Virgo in the past to, suggest that he might be impression farming. I'm sure if he was, the Omzo or Batman Booga might correct it. So it looks like we do have Clix, Batman Booga, and the Omzo, which could be a phenomenally good trio for a lot of you guys who are Clix fans who are upset that he got dropped by Rise and Muzz. Batman Booga's team, again, like I've been saying when they were playing alongside Mason, was one of the best trios in NA. And because Mason's gone away and still isn't back yet before FNCS, it makes sense they're looking for another fragger. They didn't perform quite as well with Virgo as what they wanted. Clix fits that bill, and Clix has even said he won't stream FNCS if they don't want him to. That's how locked in he is on competing in this. And this also goes hand in hand with the fact that when Rise and Muzz got Clix in a call, Clix was saying that their reasoning for wanting to drop him wasn't just his ability at the game. Yeah, they haven't been performing the best, but they're not too worried about that. It was actually just all of the toxicity and negativity from mostly Clix's Twitter community. Rise and Muzz just not really enjoying all the heat that brings in. Unfortunately, that's why they don't think they're going to work as a trio. So it's unfortunate to see. I'm sure obviously they could have worked things out, but we've only got a week until FNCS. If things aren't clicking, have to make the decision now. A lot of people are annoyed that teams are splitting up this close to FNCS. Full credit to Mr. Savage. On stream, he went live and he said that yes, Rezon did reach out to play with him and Mongrel and drop Panzer, and Savage said he will not be dropping Panzer. He's been dropped in the past a week or two before FNCS. It's just not it. He is not going to do it. He is going to be playing FNCS with Mongrel and Panzer, which I'm really excited to see. Now, speaking of Rezon and speaking of EU, we now have word of Rezon's trio, and this one is fully locked in. He is playing with two German players, Cheatin and Kiddo. Now, if you follow EU, you know who Cheatin and Kiddo are. If you don't follow EU, you maybe haven't heard of them as much. They are two phenomenal players. I'm really excited to see how Rezon does in this trio. I think a lot of people were hoping Rezon would end up with big names. He just came off the back of playing with Yanis and Noah Riley. Yanis, a 3-time FNCS champion. Noah, one of the craziest fighters of all time. But I think it will be really good for Rezon to potentially play with some more underrated players. And I mean, how often do we see on EU that we have these names that you haven't really heard of going absolutely crazy and dominating? For example, Cammy and Seti alongside Hari. I feel like most people wouldn't have heard of Hari that much until this season, and now they're looking like one of the best trios in the world. So I have a lot of faith in Rezon's trio. I hope they do really well. Rezon seems to be really confident in it, but as far as EU, it looks like that is pretty much the end of the Snakening. I'm still expecting a little bit more to happen on NA as we get close to the divisional cups. I know it's not sitting right with me. I just don't think that both Rapid and now Poyo's team are going to contest each other, or they are going to stick the way they are. I just have a feeling, I'm sensing we have a Snakening part 2 coming, but this is not the crazy video I thought I was going to make. I really thought I was going to have more news to share with you and a whole bunch of new trios would have come out. Right now, the dust has kind of settled. All right, let's talk about the solo Cash Cup finals. I'm going to kick off with NA, and you're probably going to quit this video as soon as I say it. Over on NA, we have none other than Peterbot winning it in first on 472 points. An absolutely disgusting performance from Peterbot. Just, I know it is getting ridiculous at this point. Peter cannot be stopped in trios and solos. To put it into perspective, you can see Cooper came second in 394 points. You think, man, almost 100 points over second. That's crazy. But if you compare to EU, EU won on 342 points. 342 points was the most anyone got on EU, and Pete got 130 more points than that. Just an absolutely insane performance. Peterbot got a 10 Elim 19 to open things up, 10 elim 8th, a 1 elim 72nd, so his worst game, then an 8 elim 20th, 13 elim win, 12 elim win, and 8 elim win. And to make things even better, this is how he closed out his last game when he full pieced last week's winner Vert to take the win.
Loki, Pete, I think you go up here. Go up, go up. Clip him, clip him.
Oh, no way. Don't clip
Look at
it.
that full box.
Dude, he's got him literally full boxed.
God damn. Is that 500 points? No, it's not. How many points is that?
He's a robot. Despite Peterbot winning it by a landslide, it was still an insanely exciting tournament. Again, shout out to Cooper, who actually streamed the whole thing as well. 394 points while streaming. The Vidal buff is going crazy for Cooper and Sphinx right now. Sphinx in 3rd place on 358. 2 members of that trio. Vidal coming over. The vibes that he's brought, you can just see when you watch Cooper and Sphinx and Vidal play together. Their vibes are amazing. They love the game. They're having so much fun and they're looking good while doing it. And then instantly it now boosts Cooper and Sphinx up as solo players because they're just that much more motivated. And again, I love seeing it. I'm a big fan of Cooper. I've been friends with him for ages now. He is one of the best solo players in the world when he gets his mental under control, and that's clearly what he was able to do here today. Again, unfortunately, it was when Peterbot put on the performance he just did, but still a very respectable performance. We also had Ishu in 4th place, very underrated player. Vert now winning last week, coming 5th this week, showing that it wasn't just a one-trick wonder. He can do multiple weeks of solos. We had Muzz getting 6th. Again, Muzz always the top of solo leaderboards on NA. We had L, a very, again, up-and-coming pro player. He was actually streaming all of this as well in 7th place. Super excited to see how this guy does. I'll be watching him more and more on my streams. Then we had Yomzo, Threats, and Batman Booger to close out the top 10. So a very, very stacked top 10 with a few underdogs coming out, which is always very exciting to see and why I love solos so much. Moving on over to EU, a very different story, an extremely close leaderboard. We had Wheat winning it all on 342 points, only 8 points clear of Fire End, who was only 1 point clear of Sined. So that top 3 podium finish, way more exciting on EU than NA. We also have Cammy in 4th. I talk about the trio buff. Cammy, Seti, and Hari doing so well in trios right now. One of the favorites to win on EU, and now Cammy is doing it in solos as well. And you'll also notice Hari in 10th. So seeing a lot of these multiple teams doing well in trios up there in solos. I love the motivation right now. We have another Polish player, Pix, in 5th. Then we have iDrop, Chicho, Teeny, Mathor, who I haven't heard of much before. Another underrated player inside that top 10. And then closing it out with Hari. Now, I would have loved to hype up Mr. Savage in here. Mr. Savage was doing extremely well. At one point, he was top 10 about halfway through the tournament. Unfortunately, had a few rough games towards the end, which dropped him outside of the earnings. But Mr. Savage was really putting on a performance and putting on a showing that we could very well see Mr. Savage inside the money or even a top 5 throughout this season. We still have a few more solo cash cups, and I do have very, very high hopes for Mr. Savage. It was a weird EU finals without Vico and some of the other big names as well. It's very interesting to me that Malabuka keeps doing consistently better on NA and solo finals, or at least consistently as well as he is doing on EU. So Malabuka, after coming 2nd place last week, doing phenomenally well, didn't do exactly well this week, but over on NA, we actually had a point where Malabuka, 3 games into the NA solo cash cup leaderboard, was in 1st on like 150 ping. So if you're trying to get better at solos and you play on high ping, anything under 150 ping, South Africans, that's even you, go check out Malabuka's gameplay on NA. The way he plays is very, very smart. It does not require basically any mechanics. It is just smart gameplay and positioning. He doesn't even run a shotgun. So I really do think we could see Malabuka pull off our highest high ping placement or cross region placement this season in solos. He's been really, really good on both EU and NA. We also have some sad or happy news depending on how you felt about it. We have water sprites officially being fixed. The bug in the game that made water sprites drop with 10 uses when you get them off an opponent has now been patched. They are back to the regular 3. Now, I didn't mind this too much. I do really like how good the water sprite is as a healing item. I think it's one of the best items we've ever had in the game. With the assault rifles as strong and overpowered as they are, I like having good meds around the map. That's why I'm not too mad about the shieldfish bug. The 55% chance of getting shieldfish out of regular water, which I'm almost positive is a bug, but Epic has not fixed it, so I think they're going to leave it that way. I think they're happy with it performing the way it is because, again, they understand how strong these assault rifles are, but because people are carrying all these really good meds, they're not carrying all the med kits, also because of Siphon only being white heal, and we're not just having every game go to heal off. It's so nice to watch. So I'm a little bit sad in a way to see that the water sprite got nerfed because it was really fun to see how players were using that. I thought it was going to be an issue for surge trading, but but because you have to take down an opponent to get them, no one was really getting them early enough to surge trade. But I still think Water Sprites even as 3 is one of the best healing items we've ever had as far as how strong it is, but also how balanced it is. But Epic is responding very, very well to bugs right now. I'm really hoping they do fix the train bug kind of ASAP. If we go into FNCS and one of the best drops on the map that has a mythic assault rifle the teams have, put a lot of effort into claiming isn't back in the game, it's going to be really upsetting, but still haven't seen it fixed. The train is still out of the game.